Hello everyone, I'm the Canadian Gaming Penguin. As you may know, the Make It Rain campaign event has returned to Final Fantasy XIV and will continue on until August 11th, 2021. With this iteration of the Make It Rain campaign, we have repeatable quests, and this repeatable quest is actually a retake, so to speak, of the investigation of the main story part of this iteration of the Make It Rain campaign. With this repeatable quest, we are told with the system messages that there are different endings depending on our choices made during the sequence of questioning. Well, as it turns out, based on how many iterations I've done, which was something like 20 different ones, there are only 3 different endings, and to try to not be so spoilery, one ends up with the accused being arrested and the real culprit not being found. The second ending is with the accused not being arrested and the real culprit not being found. The third ending, which is the best ending, is with the accused not arrested and the real culprit found. This is the ending that you will have seen if you happen to have watched it in my playthrough of the Make It Rain campaign event. And I'll have a card up on screen that will take you to that video in the event that you haven't seen that, and I have timestamps in that video so you can go directly to that sequence of questions. Or you can just watch later on in this video as I will be showing it. So, because there's so many different iterations of this quest line, I was having trouble trying to figure out how to actually show this in the video. The way I'm going to have it is that I'll have it timestamped into different sections of which ending it's going to be, and the ending really depends on obviously your answers, but also which clues you have, and the only way to get the best ending is to have found all the clues. That's literally the only way, and by answering the questions throughout the questioning period, if you will, to get the right result. Well, the right result. There isn't a wrong result, because the rewards are all the same. That said, the easiest way for you to see it if you are interested is to just talk to Ollie, who is right over here, and not collect any clues right after when you start the repeatable quest. So you accept the quest, and then you talk to him right away, and there'll be limited options of what you can select. The ending will be the same, but the dialogue will be slightly different depending on which option you pick, and in some cases it can be very amusing. So I'm going to try my best to try to capture all of the different dialogue as best as I can without being boringly repetitive, because unfortunately it will be that. So I will have no clues right from the start, and I'll go through the 2 kind of sort of iterations with that. And then the next options, I will have certain clues selected to show that. I'm not going to show all of the different iterations for each clue because there's way too many of those. With no clues, it'll always end with the accused arrested and the real culprit never found. With some select clues, it'll be always the accused is not arrested and the real culprit is not found. And again, with all the clues, this is the only way you will be able to get the best ending. So now that I've had a long-winded explanation, let's get right into this. So, speaking with Ollie, I'm only going to read this once because it's going to be repetitive otherwise, and then I'll just jump right into the first question portion for each iteration after this. So, the Great Horn Heist Redux. Ollie can't help but get the sense that something is eating away at you. Oh, it's you again. Is everything quite alright? You look as if there's something on your mind. Let me investigate once more. You wish to conduct another investigation. I admire your diligence, but for better or for worse, the case is already closed. That said, if there is a chance that true justice has not been served, we would be remiss not to rectify matters. I will explain the situation to Master Roland and Captain Deleuze and arrange for another hearing to be held. In the meantime, pray survey the premises and collect whatever evidence you can. We're counting on you, friend. We're counting on you, friend. So, should you accept this? And this is the same dialogue that you'll see when you actually more or less do this with the questline itself initially. And so as you can see, we have these guys right back. Basically, it resets the quest. And we're not going to collect anything or talk to any other NPCs. We're just going to speak to Ollier again. And how fares the investigation, my friend? You look as if the whole matter still has you a bit puzzled. Have you gotten any closer to the truth? It's all clear to me now, even though I haven't collected a single thing. The conclusion of this quest will differ depending on the choices you make in the following sequence. However, the rewards will remain the same. So this is what I mentioned before. This is the system message that tells us that there are different results depending on our choices, hence what it says. And as I also said, the choices will be limited when you don't have certain clues. And truly, in that case, by all means, let us share your deductions with the others. You'll kind of be able to compare those different choices later once I show each one kind of in the iterations. Ollier has explained the situation to me, though it's rather unconventional to reopen a case in this manner. We have a responsibility to arrive at the truth in whatever way that may be done. As such, I will listen once more to all evidence, old and new, at hand, and see what conclusion it leads us to regarding this unfortunate incident. I trust you have no objections. Not at all, Master Roland. While I am skeptical that anything new will come to light, it would not be my place to refuse. Mistress Aragon, I hear that you have diligently prepared for the proceedings. Are you ready to present your new evidence? Very well then, let us begin. Captain Deleuze, pray summarize the details of the incident for those of us who may have forgotten. Now, if you've already done the questline, this is repetitive, and it just begins the sequence of the questioning from here on, and it's all the same from what it was when you would have initially played through this. The only part that was new was the beginning part of obviously having to repeat it. From here on, it is the same. So I'm not going to read this because we've already seen it. So each iteration will begin right from when your character will begin to right here. So we see we have two options here, and I will be starting with the true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? There's always a true culprit. At any rate, it's clear you're simply stalling for time. If you have nothing of import to contribute, I dare say it's time we rendered a verdict. Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? Just look at those innocent eyes! Mr. Sergon, my valued employee's good name and future are on the line today. I ask you take these proceedings more seriously. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mr. Sergon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? I'm sorry, Hugh, I tried. No, say it isn't so! I didn't do it, I swear. I knew it. For all your lofty investigative work, all you've done is prove our case to us. The game's up, Hugh. Now tell us where you hit the horn, or you'll be spending tonight and many more moons in the Sultanate's darkest jail. Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. You didn't do it. Could Hugh indeed be guilty? Despite all the evidence saying as much, I still cannot believe it. At any rate, we may have arrived at a less than ideal conclusion, but I thank you for your cooperation nonetheless. And of course we get the gold saucer ticket to be used on a mini-game of some sorts. And we are going to jump right into the next one, and we are going to start from, again, where I said we would. What proof do you have that Hugh did it? As I just explained, our witnesses stated clearly that they saw no one behind the counter. In the absence of any other potential suspect, it only stands to reason that Hugh is the culprit. Oh ho! Then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? He says he didn't do it. Mr. Saragon, my valued employee's good name and future are on the line today. I ask you take these proceedings more seriously. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mr. Saragon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's Captain Deleuze. You're not serious, are you? At any rate, it's clear you've been wasting our time. Take the suspect away. Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. I didn't do it. Well, yay. Could Hugh indeed be guilty? Despite all evidence saying as such, he still can't believe. At any rate, blah 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 blah. And then it repeats, so you can change the different variations of those two dialogues of the different options without any clues to see a little more variation. I'm not going to go through that. Anyways, so now we're going to do some variations of some various clues, and I will say which NPC... I changed my mind. I will say which NPC you need to speak to get this particular variation, and I will note what clue it is that they give us. So to start, we are going to speak with the brusque brass blade, who will inform us that the horn has not been found. I'm not actually going to show this because it's going to get repetitive very quickly. But with this information, we know that the horn has not been found, and therefore you have new dialogue options. So we'll go ahead and get speaking to Ollier here. I won't be showing all of this running around either. Just so happens that one is very close by. It's all clear to me now. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? There's always a true culprit. At any rate, it's clear you're simply stalling for time. If you have nothing of import to contribute, I dare say it's time we rendered a verdict. Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It is true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? I'm not sure, but it was worth a shot. Mr. Saragon, my valued employee's good name and future are on the line today. I ask you to take these proceedings more seriously. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mr. Saragon, if you would. Just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's not Hugh, that's for certain. So, you would have us believe the true culprit is to be found elsewhere. Have you any evidence to support your words? This is all just circumstantial evidence. In summary, to this point, I have not seen sufficient evidence to convict the suspect Hugh beyond a shadow of a doubt. Would you not concur? I do. Loath as I am to admit it, your adventurer friend here has raised legitimate concerns. My apologies for being so hasty in accusing the poor man. I shall have him released immediately. That said, the question remains, who was the true mastermind behind this theft? Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. So, as you can see, that was a different ending, and that is with the accused, Hugh, released, but the true culprits not found. I can't thank you enough for absolving dear Hugh of blame, though it puts me ill at ease to know that the true culprit is still out there somewhere. Well, I suppose I should count my blessings. I thank you for your cooperation in the matter. And so we're going to repeat that again, and we're going to choose a slightly different dialogue, just because I find it amusing and because it ends up being a loop of sorts until you find the correct response. To continue the dialogue, that is. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? I call it a hunch, I guess? At any rate, it's clear you're simply stalling for time. If you have nothing of import to contribute, I dare say it's time we rendered a verdict. Oh ho! Then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It's true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? I propose the horn just vanished into thin air! Ha! You expect that baseless blathering to carry any weight here? It's more than evident that you're just wasting your time. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mistress Aragon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's not Hugh, that's for certain. So you would have us believe the true culprit is to be found elsewhere. Have you any evidence to support your words? Let me reconsider the matter. I am in no mood for jests, Mr. Saragon. I'll ask you again, and I expect a serious answer this time. It's not Hugh, that's for certain. Yes, I skipped that because it's just a repeat. I'm in no mood for jests, Mr. Saragon. I'll ask you again, and I expect a serious answer this time. As I said, this is where it starts looping, so if you select this one, which is the right choice, so to speak, with this particular clue, sequence, that is, and then it'll loop again until you select the this is all circumstantial evidence, and then it'll conclude as we saw just previously with the he is not arrested and the true culprit not found. In summary, to this point I have not seen sufficient evidence to convict the suspect Hugh beyond a shadow of a doubt. Would you not concur? I do, loath as I admit it, your adventure friend here has raised legitimate concerns. My apologies for being so hasty in accusing the poor man. I shall have him released immediately. Yay, and stuff. That said, the question remains, who was the true mastermind behind this theft? Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. And found innocent, and starting the quest again. This time we are going to go with knowing that the horn has not been found, and then we're also going to speak to a different NPC for another clue, and I'll get to that in just a second. So behind Mogulpaw we have the astute attendant. And the astute attendant tells us that there is a uniform missing. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? One of the attendants' uniforms has gone missing. What is this, you say? Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It's true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? I'm not sure, but it was worth a shot. Mistress Saragon, my valued employee's good name and future are on the line today. I ask you take these proceedings more seriously. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mistress Saragon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's not Hugh, that's for certain. So you would have us believe the true culprit is to be found elsewhere. Have you any evidence to support your words? This is all circumstantial evidence. In summary, to this point, I have not seen sufficient evidence to convict the suspect Hugh beyond a shadow of a doubt. Would you not concur? I do, loath as I admit it, your adventure friend here has raised legitimate concerns. My apologies for being so hasty in accusing the poor man. I shall have him released immediately. Yay, and stuff. That said, the question remains, who was the true mastermind behind the theft? Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. This time we are going to be talking to the brusque brass blade, so we know that the horn has not been found. The astute attendant, so that we know that a uniform is missing. And the cheery customer, which then unlocks this over here, the choice location, so that we kind of have a vantage point to know, that it's possible something wasn't seen. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? One of the attendants' uniforms has gone missing. What's this, you say? Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It's true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? The horn was stolen while Hugh was still on duty. I see. For you to say so with such confidence, I imagine you must have uncovered some convincing evidence indeed. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mistress Saragon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's not Hugh, that's for certain. So you would have us believe the true culprit is found elsewhere. Have you any evidence to support your words? This is all circumstantial evidence. In summary, to the point, I have not sufficient evidence to convict the suspect Hugh beyond a shadow of a doubt. Would you not concur? I do, Lotham. I admit that your adventurer friend here has raised legitimate concerns. I'm disturbed that I've already got that memorized. My apologies for being so hasty in accusing the poor man. I shall have him released immediately. Yahoo! I didn't do it. I mean... that said, the question remains, who was the true mastermind behind this theft? Yes, precisely as we orchestrated. this time we will be speaking with the brusque brass blade once again, so that we know that the horn has not been found. The astute attendant, so that we know that the uniform is missing. Up the stairs, we are going to head over to the jumbo cactpot area and speak with the frantic attendant, so that we know it is, in fact, this Lollifelin-sized uniform that is missing. As I jump on a table that I can actually jump over. And then next, again, the cheery customer, so that we know half of the view. Hint, hint. And the choice location, so that we know that a vantage point will not allow us to see a certain thing. Or... yes. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? One of the attendants' uniforms has gone missing. What's this, you say? Oh ho, then let us proceed to the topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It's true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? The horn was stolen while Hugh was still on duty. I see. For you to say so with such confidence, I imagine you must have uncovered some convincing evidence indeed. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter, Mistress Aragon. If you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's you, Pippi Maya. Me? Is this some kind of joke? I'm no thief. I'm an officer of the law. You'd best have some proof behind these accusations, or I'll have you hauled in a gale faster than you can say Godbert Manderville. My adventurer sense is never wrong! I'm in no mood for jests, Mistress Aragon. I'll ask you again, and expect a serious answer this time. It's you, Pippi Maya! Me? Is this kind of joke? I'm no thief. I'm an officer of the law. You'd best have some proof of blah blah blah, Godbert Manderville. Just look at that suspicious look on his face. I'm in no mood for jests, blah blah blah. It's you, Pippi Maya. And yes, obviously there's repetitiveness there. Me? Is this kind of joke? Blah blah blah, Godbert Manderville. The stolen uniform was Lollifel-sized. And so what if it is? That is proof of nothing. You need only look around to see that I'm far from the lonely Lollifel in this place. Now, these two options are going to end the same, with the conviction of... with Hugh found innocent and the real culprit not found. Once you find another clue, which is the next sequence that I will be doing, you'll have a different option at this point, and that's where we continue. But for now, we'll come to think of it, he has a point. Perhaps the man is innocent, but so am I. The thief is still out there. What are you waiting for? Get out there and catch him. In summary, to this point I have not seen sufficient evidence, blah 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 blah, Hugh is innocent, we'll release him, sorry for arresting you, blah blah blah. Yay, I told you I didn't do it! It's sad, the question remains, who is the true mastermind behind the theft, and yes, precisely as we orchestrated. The character with the Yurioshe outfit. I'm like, what the heck? Why is Yurioshe right there? And then my brain functioned and it was telling me it was a person with the outfit, not that it was Yuriage. Alrighty, so once more we will be speaking with the brass blade, so that we know that the horn has not been found. The astute attendant, so that we know a uniform is missing. The frantic attendant, so that we know that it is his uniform that's missing. And for the record, you have to do it in that order, the astute attendant first, and then the frantic one, because the frantic one will not speak to you until you have found out about the uniform. And next, we will speak with the cheery customer and the vantage pointy bit, so that we know there's the stuff that might not be seen. Then we'll speak with the brass blade recruit, so that we know that Pippi Maya had ignored some people. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? One of the attendants' uniforms has gone missing. What's this, you say? Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where's the horn? It is true that we haven't recovered it, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? The horn was stolen while Hugh was still on duty. I see. For you to say so with such confidence, I imagine you must have uncovered some convincing evidence indeed. Well, now I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter, Mr. Sargon. If you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It's you, Pippi Maya. Me? Is this some kind of joke? I'm no thief. I'm an officer of the law. You'd best have proof behind the accusations, or I'll have you hauled to a jail faster than you can say Godbert Manderville. The stolen uniform was Lullafell in size. And so what if it is? That's proof of nothing. You need only look around you to see that I'm far from the only Lullafell in this place. Come to think of it, he has a point. Perhaps the man is innocent, but so am I. The thief is still out there. What are you waiting for? Get out there and catch him. I do loathe as admitted, blah 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 blah. Now as you can see, nothing changed. Well, the reason for that is that the last clue is actually a sequence of different clues. Because that clue by itself is actually irrelevant. So, with the final sequence, we have to actually collect the quest from Ollier. That helps, because otherwise you can't even talk to them. I did that when I was testing these 2 days ago as well. Was running around trying to find the people and I was confused. I'm like, maybe there was a sequence that you had to unlock them. And it turned out that I hadn't actually accepted the quest. Yep. So, we need to speak with the Brass Blade so that we know that the horn has not been found. Then we will speak with the astute attendant so that we can see that the uniform is missing. And we'll run up these stairs and speak with the frantic attendant, who will tell us that the uniform in question that is missing is in fact his, and he's very panicked about it. Hence his franticness. Next we will speak with the recruit, who is over here, Brassblade recruit, so that we know the rumor that Pippi Maya or whatever had ignored peoples Then we'll talk to the blabbering brass blade because he will tell us other stuff because he needed the rumor to know about that. Then we will talk to the cheery customer. So we have our vantage point clue. And then obviously in combination with that, the choice location. And then finally, if we head over in this direction, we will see the effusive attendant, who will tell us about Pippi Maya's brother. And just to review, we have all of this information now. Notes on the crime scene at the time of the theft, testimony from a witness in the area of the time, notes from a conversation with a brusque brass blade, on the appearance of the crime scene from a different angle, notes from a conversation of a frantic attendant, notes from a conversation with a blabbering brass blade, notes from a conversation with an astute attendant, and notes from a conversation with 2 brass blades, and then finally, notes from a conversation with 2 effusive attendants. And with all of those clues, we will finally have all the necessary information to derive and find the correct culprits. And this will be the only way you can get the best ending, with the true culprits caught and Hugh found innocent. Unless, of course, in your opinion, that Hugh being arrested is the perfect ending. Because if that's the case, then woe is him. The true culprit is still out there. What? How could you possibly know that? One of the attendants' uniforms has gone missing. What's this, you say? Oh ho, then let us proceed to the next topic at hand. Captain Deleuze and his men are all but convinced that Hugh is the thief. Have you uncovered any evidence to lead you to believe otherwise? If you're so sure he did it, then where is the horn? It is true that we haven't recovered it yet, but I assure you it's only a matter of time. That's hardly evidence of the man's innocence. What exactly are you implying? The horn was stolen while Hugh was still on duty. I see. For you to say with such confidence, I imagine you must have uncovered some convincing evidence indeed. Well now, I do believe we've come to the heart of the matter. Mr. Sargon, if you would, just who do you believe is truly responsible for the crime? It is you, Pippi Maya. Me? Is this some kind of joke? I'm no thief. I'm an officer of the law. You'd best have some proof behind these accusations, or I'll have you hauled in jail faster than you can say Godbert Manderville. Godbert Manderville. The stolen uniform was Lalafell-sized. And so what if it is? That is proof of nothing. You need only look around you to see that I am far from the only Lalafell in this place. But not all have brothers with eyes only for MGP. Wait, how do you know that? I mean, nonsense, I have an alibi. At the time the theft happened, I was at the chocobo races, and I'll have you know I won myself a fortune as well. Ha! The joke's on you. Just ask any of the attendants there. They all remember me. Why, I'm one of their best customers. So it's actually at this point that I realize I forgot that if you speak to the brass blade recruit, which gives you the rumor, which then tells you, gives you the option to talk to the other brass blade by the entrance square, who then tells you about this Master Maya Pippi nickname, which is then the option here. The next clue would actually have been to the effusive attendants who tell you about Maya Pippi's Pippi Maya's brother. And then you would have this part, and you wouldn't have my most sincere apologies, Master Maya Pippi, which is the next correct answer. I missed that one. So we're gonna skip the lies, be a man, and confess to your crime. We're gonna go just to my most sincere apologies, Master Maya Pippi. Master Maya Pippi? Is this your idea of a joke? The least you could do is to have the dignity to call a man by his proper name. What? Just the other day you told us that was your favorite nickname. Enough, Sasapano. It would seem our game is up. Remarkably sleuthing, if I do say so myself. Of course, you are correct. Hugh is not the culprit. I am, or should I say, we are. Master Mayapipi, there is two of you! What is the meaning of this? You'd better have a good explanation for all of us. I am Pipi Maya, the real one, that is. The man who was posing as me until our ruse was revealed is my twin brother, Sasapano. We also have another brother, some years younger than the two of us. He's our pride and joy, sharp of mind and fleet of foot. Sadly, one day our dear brother was stricken with a rare, nigh untreatable malady. He was told he had but moons to live, if that. Needless to say, Sasapano and I were devastated. When the initial shock had passed, we were left with one thought. If we could not save the boy's life, at the very least we could make his biggest dream come true in the precious days he remained with us. Specifically, his dream to one day sail across the heavens on his very own, Sapatender Emperador. I knew of his wish quite well, having often observed him eyeing its glorious succulent form longingly from the post on security duty. And so, in hopes of granting our dear sibling's dying wish, Sasapano and I embarked on a single-minded quest to accumulate as much MGP as we could muster. Sasapano, in particular, displayed quite the aptitude for games, and soon became known as one of the saucer's most successful regulars. The points accumulated rapidly and in great quantities, where our brother's condition was declining even more starkly. We were racing against time and seemed destined to lose. So it was that the idea came to us in sheer desperation. We would use the hustle and bustle of the festival as a cover, sneak behind the counter, and pilfer that which would make one ill-fated man's wildest dreams come true. The rest played out exactly as this insightful adventurer deduced. Little did I expect that I'd be found out before I even snuck the horn past the guards. Indeed, it all makes sense now. My sincerest apologies, good sir, to think that not only did we wrongly accuse you, but that the true culprit, one of them at least, was one of our own. Using your position and knowledge as a security officer to mastermind such a heinous act, can you two even begin to comprehend the gravity of your crimes? I'll see you rot in the darkest jail. No. Wait, I beg of you. Might I be allowed to speak for a moment? I come from a poor family of refugees. Before they graciously hired me as a saucer attendant, I lived alone with my mother. For years it was a constant struggle to put food on our plates. We feared that each coming day might be our last. Often I would hear my mother sobbing at night, unable to hold back the grief and pain she hid inside for her son's sake. One day her name day was approaching, and I had a thought. Once, for one day in her life, I would do something that would bring a smile to her face, and so I got her a ring. Or more accurately, I stole it. I regretted the act almost immediately, but it was too late. I was soon apprehended. I was dismissed from my job as a laborer and was told I would never find work in this town again. With not even the coin to buy a scrap of bread for tomorrow's breakfast, I fell into utter despair. My life, our lives, were surely over. I was certain. It was then that the kind soul reached out to me. That kind soul was none other than the very man whose gold ring I tried to steal. I speak of the owner of this gold saucer, the one and only Lord Godbert Manderville. He made me swear a promise that I would never return to thievery again, and offered me a position as an attendant here if I would obey. I am far from a wealthy man, but the remuneration has been more... The remuneration, I'm never going to get that word, has been more than enough to provide my mother and I with a better life than we could ever have imagined. I was deeply wounded, of course, when I was judged by my less than upstanding history and wrongly branded a thief, and I understand all too well that unfortunate circumstances do not justify turning to crime, and yet, hearing Master Pippimaya speak just now, I cannot help but feel for him. And so, I beg of you, for what little that might count for, do not go overly hard on the man. Your plea has been heard, my good man. Captain Deleuze, if I might have the floor for a moment, I would make a few propositions. Proposition number 1. In my capacity as owner of the Manderville Gold Saucer, I hereby gift Pippimaya and Sesapano's dear brother one Sabbatender Emperador on the house. The horn was a gift, meaning that no theft has taken place here today, and thusly there is no crime for which you need answer to the authorities. Can I have one too? Oh, needless to say, there is one with your name on it as well, my friend. Simply partake in our game's start and saving those points, and it'll be yours before you know it. Drat. As for you, Pippimaya and Sesapano, as I said, you need not answer to the authorities for what you did today. You will, however, answer to me. The words of Hugh here speak to me. In that light, I would make my second proposition. To answer for your actions and repay me for my gift, I propose that you serve a period of community service, to be performed under my direct oversight. Pippimaya, you are to don a Senior Sabbatender suit and serve as a caretaker's assistant in the children's ward of Frontenel's Frontistery. There you will do your best to provide succor and good cheer to the poor children who suffer as your own young brother does. This will, however, require you to undergo strict training until such time as you are able to perform a perfect Senior Sabbatender shimmy. Do you accept these conditions? Of course I do! With pleasure, Lord Manderville! Now for you, Sesapano, I dare say your knowledge and expertise regarding all things gold saucer rivals almost any in the realm. It would be a shame to let that go to waste. And so, I propose that you serve as a chaperone for those children suffering from symptoms less grave. You will show them about the gold saucer that their hearts may lighten and they may forget their pain for a time. I trust you have no objections, Captain Deleuze. I am but a humble sellsword to the Syndicate's employ, Lord Manderville. Any judgment you render is my honor and duty to see carried out. Oh ho ho! Very well then. I do believe we can now consider this matter closed. Hooray! Yay! Ollier, simply incredible. Thanks to your peerless detective work, my dear friend's innocence has been proven, and fair justice has been served to one and all. Lord Manderville granted Pippimaya and Sesapano a brief reprieve before beginning their sentence, that they might deliver the Sabbatender Emperador to their brother in person. I can only imagine how his eyes will alight at the sight. Truly you have saved the day, in more ways than one. And all of us here at the Gold Saucer are in your debt. Thank you, my friend. And as I said before, I actually missed one where you would speak with the effusive attendants that are over here, or not over here, which are over here, before speaking with the brusque whatever to learn about the nickname. I'm not going to go over that. You I hope you get the gist by now, because there's, as I said, there's a lot of iterations to go through, obviously each example, etc. And the key point being is that there's 3 different endings. One where Hugh is found guilty and arrested. The other ending is that Hugh is found innocent, or at least there's not enough evidence to prove his guilt, and therefore he's released, and the real culprits are not found. And then finally, as you could see just now, the result of Hugh is innocent and the real culprits are found. Anyways, as a reminder with the Make It Rain campaign, it goes on It will be continuing on until August 11th, 2021, and with it we have a 50% MGP bonus for various gold saucer activities. We also have 3 new items. We have a Sabotender minion, which is the minion right here that you can see, Senorita Sabotender. And we also have 2 housing items. The Cactar stool, a stool designed in the likeness of a cactar, perfect for those guests who you don't want getting too comfortable. And then the Cactar round table, a round table designed in the likeness of a cactar, perfect for those guests whom you don't want getting too comfortable. And then obviously you could repeat the gold saucer ticket quest thingy and obviously not collect any of the clues and you'll get some gold saucer tickets quite easily. Anyways, that is it for this one. Thanks for watching!